Welcome back to a chart nerd technical analysis video. Today we will be discussing the likes of VELO against USDT on its daily time frame. Now before I start, I just wanted to say this video is not financial advice and is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. However, I hope you do enjoy the content. Now analyzing VELO here, this is actually on its weekly time frame. I do apologize. We're going to start on the weekly, and as you all know, we've been covering this sort of 6 to 7 month symmetrical triangle that gets relatively boring. And I do apologize, guys, because I cover this every sort of few days, but we really are sort of getting into the apex here. And this is the most important time to watch out for what the price action does within a project in such a pattern. Now, before I dive into the daily time frame, I just wanted to explain why I think that this breakout is still looking to break to the upside and why 10 cents is still my target. So several key sort of indicators are pointing this out to me on the larger time frame. So one is the fact that this symmetrical triangle that we've actually been in for the last 6 to 7 months, guys, has been forming from a prior uptrend. So the trend before this pattern started to form was an uptrend. So we've come into this sort of triangle from a massive insane pump. So what this means is the triangle pattern that we're actually forming is a leading symmetrical triangle, a bullish leading symmetrical triangle, because the pattern before was a bullish trend that has led into this coil up, and we're now looking for the breakout and that expectation to the upside. And because this is a leading bullish pattern and it's a triangle that hasn't formed from a downtrend where we've coiled up for sort of 6 months in a downtrend, if we was doing something like this where we come in from a downtrend and entered this triangle, it gives more confidence for the breakout to the downside. But the fact that we've come into this leading symmetrical triangle on the macro from an uptrend gives more confidence that we're looking for the breakout to the upside. So that's just one sort of indicator that I'm looking at here that's giving more confidence for our breakout to sort of 10 to 11 cents. The second one is, again, something we've been monitoring for a very long time, but it's the weekly 20 and 55 EMA bull cross that VELO is trying to form right now. And we are at the tightest it's been if we zoom into the weekly. We're at the gap here is extremely tight. It's the tightest it's been. Maybe, where was we here? October. You know, we was looking for it because we ran up and we came back. We was looking to hold these EMAs. It was extremely tight here, but you can see we lost support and eventually we came back down to this triangle support that we've been building up in for the last 6 to 7 months. So with that being said, our last point of contact of support or resistance within this weekly triangle that's been building for so long, our last point of contact was actually on support. And if we go based off of wick resistance here and triangle support, what you'll see is we've had 3 points of contact in regards to wicks and closes on support. And if we go from wick, again, this is just wick based, guys. If we look at wick based analysis and resistance, you can see we've only had 2 wicks here, whereas we've had 3 points of contact on support. So the last point of contact was on the 4th of November at our 0.010 low, and you can see that right now what we're trying to do is get back up to this triangle resistance right now. So the fact that we're trying to form this weekly bullish cross is another sort of bullish statement as we are coming into the apex of this triangle formation, and a breakout will occur, guys. So this is just another sort of leading indicator other than the leading symmetrical triangle. As I've said to you, the bullish trend we've come from, we've been coiling up for 6 to 7 months, and we're looking for the first bullish cross in VELO's history on its weekly time frame, which could lead to some really insane moves. Again, nothing that I do say is financial advice, but that's 2 sort of indicators there. The fact we come from a bullish trend, we're in this symmetrical triangle, and we're starting to try and form this weekly bullish cross. If that bullish cross occurs within the next month or so for VELO inside this compression zone, I would expect a really explosive breakout after 7 months of squeezing in this really sort of frustrating triangle. So there's something to monitor there. Now going into the daily time frame, if we analyze this triangle in the daily time frame, what you'll notice as well that's given more confidence for a break to the upside is VELO is trying to also form another bullish cross on its daily time frame. Now, the last time this bullish cross occurred for VELO was back in August, where we held support on this previous double bottom, the 0.007 low, which is our lows. We had this double bottom, we broke out, back tested the EMA cross for support, and then we shot off into our resistance point here on the daily, which was 0.020 on Friday the 27th of September. So again, these are the sort of points of contact and the path and trajectory that's occurred for VELO to create this pattern. The 0.028 high was the first level of resistance. Coming back to our double bottom was the confirmation of triangle support. From that double bottom, we had the bullish cross and the rally up into resistance. And at that point from resistance, we've now had our last point of contact in this triangle on support, which was on the 5th of November. So what we're going to look at here was this local low, and is this giving more confirmation to the fact that we are looking for the run up again into resistance for a third point of contact? Well, let's discuss that a little bit more and have a little bit more of a zoom in here to the daily so we can see and analyze a bit more what's going on. What I wanted to show you was the sort of key support levels and reasons to why we found support at this level, and the reasons to why right now we've also ran into resistance. So if we get a Fibonacci on from our local high that we're trying to get back to, which is 0.020, if we get a fib on from that high, retracing back down to our 0.007 double bottom, what you'll notice is, yes, for one, we found support on this triangle support, the ascending support. We found support on that trend line, but two, we actually found support on the 0618 at 0.0104. So going from this high, retracing back down to these two lows, we found the golden ratio support equally on triangle support, and have since seen a really nice rally. So in fact, from that low and our last point of contact on this triangle, VELO is actually up around 34%. Now within this triangle point of contact, what we've done now is managed to get back above our EMAs, and we're sort of dragging them back up to form the bullish cross. Now I'm a little bit conflicted on the lower time frames here as what's to occur for VELO. Again, I am looking for this retest on this resistance, so to speak. I think it would be very important for VELO to get to that point. Failing that, again, we could come back down to this ascending support for a double bottom. So both scenarios here, sorry, I'm getting a bit lost, but both scenarios, we've got this low. If we do sort of reject this bullish cross right now, just expect another tap of support on the ascending support. And what we could do is just from this high, we could be coming back and forming a larger double bottom before the breakout, just like we did here. So from this high at 0.28, we came back to a key level of support, formed the double bottom, and then got the breakout. Again, repeat, from this high, come back, form a double bottom, and then get the breakout leading into the end of the year. It's a potential. So that's the sort of bearish play here. If we fail to form this bullish cross and do lose both of these EMAs, then I would just look for another retest on support on this ascending trend line. But if we can manage to get this bullish cross and VELO holds support on its EMAs, this gives more confidence to the point that we could be coming back up to this resistance point. So it's all about this EMA cross and whether VELO can come back here and hold them for the breakup, or whether it's going to lose its EMAs, hit its head, and then come back for another key level of support and potentially form that double bottom on the daily time frame here before getting the breakout leading into December. So again, please do not be disheartened, guys. I know this is a very, very frustrating pattern to be inside of, but again, there are multiple bullish signals on the macro time frame that are pointing towards a breakout to the upside. Okay, so just sometimes stepping back a bit and zooming out and just having a bit more of a zoomed out perspective on the actual sort of trajectory this project is on might just be a good thing to do every now and then. You know, you don't want to be looking at the 1 hour, the 4 hour, it had this spike, it had that spike, and you just zoom out and relax it a little bit. Not financial advice. So we've got two sort of scenarios here. Now, again, we have run into, as you can see, key resistance. So this 0.015 to 16 range has been our key resistance level since we actually came up and retested it here on the 15th of October. So resistance, just shy of resistance here, we had resistance here, and we've just run into resistance again on the daily time frame. So nearly over a month of resistance underneath this pattern. Now some could say that it's trying to build some sort of left shoulder. This is a head, and right now we're in the formation of the right shoulder before getting this breakout. That is also a potential, but it doesn't look extremely solid, I'll be honest with you. However, this is the most important level of resistance that VELO needs to reclaim on its lower time frames to validate a move any higher. We need to reclaim this resistance at 0.015. Again, we do have some hope with this bullish cross. The fact we are above the EMAs and looking to come back here and hold it as support. If we can come back and break through this resistance, fantastic. I think descending resistance will be met pretty quickly. But again, failing to break out here and seeing rejection, this could give confluence to a double bottom back on this ascending support line. And the 050 is actually a very interesting area. So we've held the 0618 as support. We've ran back up into resistance. twice. We're trying to form the cross. If we can't, could the 050 act as support? The 0618 is already confirmed. Come back, build a higher low on the 050, 0.0118, and then look for the break. That's a play again to keep an eye on. But again, just for me on the lower time frames, it's all about taking out this resistance on the short term. If we do, it gives more confidence to running up to our triangle resistance for another retest. And if we break that, then you've got the retest back up to this 0.02 high, which could come pretty soon as well. So there's a lot on the table. There's a lot on the table. But as I'm saying, just zooming out, acknowledging that we are still inside this pattern, and as long as we are still inside this triangle, there's nothing to worry about. You know, if VELO starts coming down and losing support, different story. We analyze if that comes. But if not, and we're just sort of stuck here waiting for the breakout, then we have no panic. I will update as we go along, guys. I hope, actually, one more thing to show you, one more indicator that's actually quite a bullish statement for VELO if it can continue, is the MFI. Now, I've pointed out this a couple of times before, so let me just get my EMAs off here. I do apologize. The MFI on the weekly time frame helps us sort of identify a top, and I've broke this down many times for VELO, so I'm going to get the drawings off right now before I go. Just show you this one more little cheeky indicator. So if we look at the MFI here in certain peaks, okay, where it's very, very overextended. So at these sort of levels, where was we in the MFI? In the 90. So this is the sort of overbought levels for VELO, if it wants to let me do it. So when we're in the overbought levels for VELO, if you look at the price, again, I've mentioned this in prior videos, but if you look at the price, this is where it indicates in this indicator that the price is very overextended, and this is where potential dips could come back down. And again, when we did drop back down to these sort of levels, these are the oversold regions, and these sort of prices were the areas that offered great opportunity to get involved. So if you was just selling the top of the MFI above 90 on both times and then buying it in these sort of oversold regions below 30, then you could have literally sold a top, bought a bottom, sold a top, and bought a bottom so far. And what this is also pointing out to me is that, yes, we've had, at the moment, what we've had is we've had the peak, we've had a peak, yeah? We've had a low, we've had the lows. We've had a peak, we've had a peak, we've had a low, we've had a low. The next thing I think that we're missing here is another peak going into 2025, and this is where VELO starts to put in that really impulsive move, looking for higher targets. So I think for me, I'm just still on the sidelines waiting for the decision of this triangle to break out, and I'm waiting for the MFI to first sort of get back into these overbought zones before I even look to take anything off of the table for VELO. So that's just something I wanted to show you before I go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the content from Chart Nerd TA. Take care. Peace out.